Wow, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all of you, dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans here in the continent, and to those who are in the diaspora. Civics and citizenship is not just a subject in Burkina Faso or in the continent of Africa, is a foundation for tomorrow. Friends, fellow Africans, Burkina Faso has introduced lectures on civics and citizenship in schools and universities. We may ask ourselves why Captain Ibrahim Traore has introduced this thing in schools and universities. Why children are now taught about citizenship, about civics. I think we need leaders who will be committed. We need to create leaders who will be committed to their nation. We have seen for many years in the continent of Africa, sometimes we get puppet leaders, sometimes we get leaders who are destroying our countries. For instance, you remember Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire, currently Congo, DRC, Jokasa Bokassa. There are so many leaders who destroyed their nations. But all in all, it's because of education. They were equipped different knowledge, and we know that many of our schools, many of our education are still colonial system. They are under colonial systems. So to avoid that things, or to avoid puppet leaders, betrayers, we need to prepare our young men and women to become good citizens, to be to contribute to the citizens. Right now we have Agenda 2063. We know that we have Agenda 2063. Also, we have continental free trade areas. Are we teaching our children? Are we telling our children that we have continental free trade area, that you can produce goods in your country, then you can sell those goods to country C or to another country? Are we telling our children to be entrepreneurs, to understand in their mind that I can produce here in Burkina Faso, but I can sell this in South Africa? Are we teaching them about the unity of this continent? Do we have topics in our schools about unity of this continent, importance of unity? Are we teaching them? Go and look in your curriculums. Are we teaching them? Because, we have small countries like Lesotho, Rwanda, Burundi. So how can you teach children or young people in Burundi, in Rwanda, a small country that can produce enough goods to sell only in Burundi? We have to teach them that you can sell in East African community, you can sell in SADC, you can sell your product in the entire continent. We need to equip our young men and women right knowledge that we need unity. One thing that you see this current generation are not talking about unity. They didn't learn about unity. Because some of them, they were taught or they acquired education in Europe. You remember that after maybe finished schools, maybe first degrees or diploma, then they go to Europe to acquire masters and the other kind of stuff like that, PhD. Many of our leaders acquired their knowledge in European countries. So that's why they are not led about unity. But I hope if they have been equipped the knowledge of unity, the importance of unity. I think right now we have been talking about unity. We have maybe a summit of unity of this continent. So don't expect that this continent will achieve Agenda 2063 if we are not preparing our young men, women, our children, our students about unity, about Agenda 2063, about Africa continental free trade areas. Because we who are already grown up, we cannot do anything in that matter. We have nothing to do about continental free trade areas. But I hope those who are below 50, below 15, are those who can enjoy Africa continental free trade area, are those who will enjoy the unity of this continent, are those who will enjoy Agenda 2063. So we must understand that those who sow the seed will never enjoy the shade. So let us plant the seed so that the coming can enjoy the shade. So we have to equip our young men and women, our students, right information, citizenship, how they can be good citizens, how they can become good engineers, how they can contribute positive to their nations, to the continent of Africa. I think that is very, very important. So let us now move to Agenda 2063. Are we preparing our students, our young men and women to know Agenda 2063? In our schools, do your own research. In our schools, do we have topics about Agenda 2063? In our curriculums, African curriculums in African nations, are we speaking about Agenda 2063? How these young men can contribute to achieve Agenda 2063? They know. You find that we are not teaching them. We are waiting them to come out to hear from others. So do you think these young men, they will contribute positive to the Agenda 2063 if we are not well equipping them? We are not teaching them about how they can contribute to achieve Agenda 2063. So I think we have something to do, especially in our education systems. You know, I got an opportunity to go somewhere outside of this continent, in a country that I will not mention. I found one thing that was amazed me. There's something called career guidance, where students every weekend they meet with professionals. If you want to play football, you meet with footballer, professional. If you want to become marine, you meet someone who is from marine. If you want to become a doctor, you meet doctors. Then you ask your question, student asking questions about how to become doctor, challenges, something like that. But I didn't find this in Africa. I was so amazed. So that's how students in other countries are being prepared. Now we have these resources. All of us, we know we have gold, we have lithium, we have everything. Are we preparing our people, our young men and women, to add value to this lithium or to gold? We are waiting Chinese to come and we have this tendency. Investors will come, will transform knowledge. Don't expect Chinese to come and invest. Then they are making money, they are finding money. Then they have no time to introduce or to induce your people. They are here not to teach your people how to process lithium, how to manufacture motorcycles. All over the continent right now, we have these motorcycles, these motorbikes. We call tuk-tuks. In other countries in East Africa, they call borders, something like that, these motorcycles. So ask how many money Chinese are made from these borders, from these tuk-tuks, from these motorbikes. Are we preparing our children to manufacture their own motorbikes? No, we are waiting. So I think we need to teach them civics and citizenship. What the role of them in the country? What is your role as engineer? What is your role as doctor? What is your role as businessmen and women? What is your role as a soldier? Or we are going to have soldiers who will take guns and try to do something that is so bad. One thing that I love, even when these countries, Sahel, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, took power, they didn't kill anybody. That is what I like. There are those who say, these leaders, military leaders, they are so dictators. But when they took power, you didn't hear anyone being killed. Maybe there has, but not much as we hear from DRC, as we hear from Sudan, as we hear from Libya, as we hear from other countries. But they took power in a polite ways. They said clearly that you have failed to reach our expectations. So keep aside, we are going to take power. That's what they did. You see? So we need to teach our soldiers that you have responsibilities to learn your country, to protect your country. As a doctor, you have responsibilities to treat your people. As a teacher, you have responsibilities to teach light information, light things to your people. Engineer, what is your role? Our roads are being constructed by Chinese, by Europeans, but we have engineers. So let us share. I think these lectures will teach young men and women in universities and schools that if you become an engineer, you have responsibilities to build your roads. How comes that Chinese are building their own roads, but they are also building our roads? Europeans, they are building their own buildings, but also they are building our homes. How is it comes? How is it come that Europeans are feeding themselves at the same time they are feeding us? We have seen countries, small countries such as Ukraine, feeding Africa, sending food to Africa to support and say, we have people. So we need to teach our children, to tell our children that to be respected, we need to take all responsibilities. As a citizen, as a father, as a mother, you have your duty. You need to contribute positive. You need to do this and this. I think I love what Burkina Faso is doing. Burkina Faso is doing a wonderful thing. This is not only about subject. This is about preparing tomorrow of Burkina Faso. I wish other African countries to do the same. You know, I have saying this many times. In Africa, we are doing things individually. And of course, we are sovereign states. We don't need to follow anyone. We don't need to be dictated by anyone. But if we can do these things as a continent, as I said, we have Agenda 2063. If we can teach, we know that these young people who have maybe the age of 10, by the year 2063, they will become young people, they will be elders. I think so. So we have to prepare them. What is inside Agenda 2063? We have to tell them that in Agenda 20, the aim of Agenda 2063 is this and that. Even these who are too old, they know nothing about Agenda 2063. Do you see Agenda 2063 is the thing that will bring Africa together? If so, what have we done in these years before reaching Agenda 2063? Before reaching 2063, here in the middle, what are we doing to achieve that is in the Agenda 2063? If we cannot feed ourselves, we don't have good infrastructures in both education systems, hospitals. What can we do to industrialize what this Agenda 2063 we are talking about is going to achieve? But all in all, dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans, the aim of this video is to share this good story from Burkina Faso, that Burkina Faso has introduced lectures on civics and citizenship in schools and universities. I think this is a good thing. I see they are moving in the right direction. We need to teach, to equip well our children. We need to equip well our people to take responsibilities of building their nations, to be good citizens, to contribute positive to their nations as well as to the continent of Africa. We need to teach them the importance of unity of this continent. So if we can teach all young people in the continent about unity, I think they will grow up, they know the importance of unity.
Thank you.